a tutorial video of the new partner version 1.1 Orbitas module. So to begin, just like with the beta version, we're going to begin by creating a job in partner. So to do this, we're going to open a job. We're going to put our work order right here. Work order dash 101623. Now, unlike the beta version, it's actually going to be able to grab the job name from the work order number right here, which is a really nice enhancement. Let's see, let's give it a staked by, hit OK, and I'm missing a couple things, I forget. Okay, there we go. One of the reasons why is if we go over to the Orbitas module now, it opens up just like in the beta version. It remembers your login, so it's logging me into my user account and showing me the jobs that are available. You'll notice there's a new settings tab right up at the top here. Under the settings, there's the ability to now selected default naming variable is job number. So before it was the job name, now we can actually use the job number. So that's a nice enhancement, and you can actually toggle back and forth if for whatever reason you needed to use the job name rather than job number. It's now a setting, so that's a really nice feature. You notice you have the version number right down here on the bottom of the settings. Let's save the current settings, and what I want to do is log out real quick, and I'm going to go back in and log in. Orbitas, view Orbitas jobs. And just to show you, if you haven't seen this Orbitas module in operation before, it does remember your login. So you would put in your login for Orbitas, and that doesn't matter if you're a user, a group administrator, a group user, a subscription administrator, or in my case, a system administrator. It's going to recognize any of your credentials. Typically, we want to log in as a standard user. So I'm logging in as a user, MB phone. Put my password and then tell it to stay logged in. And there we are, we're back at that screen we were before. Now, normally, if you're just used to the Utilipad module, you would import your jobs from Orbitas into Partner. Well, we could do that, but instead of doing that, I'm going to actually upload from my current job. Oh, sorry. We have to put something in the current job first. We created a current job, but I haven't actually put anything in there yet. So let's zoom in, and I find one of the easiest ways to just put something in the job is if I go over here and I just retire some line. Let's retire this line segment, and we want to put our endpoints in as well. It just pulls out that line segment, and it does a really nice job of putting the, I want to actually edit that location if I can get on it. There we are. We have some 4 ACSR, no location units on there. Let's actually pretend there was a 35-foot pole there. So let's put one on, and let's make that we're going to retire that pole. Okay, so on location 2, not only we have backspan now, we're going to retire a pole. So back to our Orbitas module, we can now hit upload from current job. Are you sure what you want to upload? Yes. It'll take just a few seconds, and then it'll successfully upload. If we actually were to open up our email, you can see that the owner of the account gets an email that says work order 101623 was successfully uploaded by MB phone, and it's ready to view in Orbitas. So the good thing is, if that was being uploaded by an administrator, then the user gets the notification and they know to go to their phone and download. So what I'm going to do now is jump over to my phone. I'm going to go ahead and open Orbitas. Now, to download a new job into Orbitas, this is something new for a lot of people, but there is a bottom that's been there for a few versions on the bottom right that's supposed to look like a little download arrow for a page. If we click that, it will look to see if there's any jobs assigned to that user, and if there are, it downloads them. So now work order 101623 shows up. I can click on that, and there's that work order that we pulled in. If I zoom in on it, There's location number 2. Let's click on that and look at the units and spans. There's that retire 35-foot pole. And if we look at the spans, we have the 2 retire 4 ACSRs. Okay. So what I want to do while I'm in the spans, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add new span. We're going to put new overhead primary on here. And so we're going to put 1 odd ACSR. And it's going to be, let's say we want to make this ABC phase for whatever reason. Let's go ahead and make that ABC phase. So now we have the 2 retire 4 ACSRs and the 1 new 1 odd. We'll hit back. Oops, sorry, I didn't want to hit back yet. We have a retire 35, but I want to go in and I want to add a new pole. So we'll go to my overhead poles, and we're going to put a new 45-foot pole in its place, and then we also want some overhead assembly. So maybe it's just an A1 going in here. It would probably be an angle, but it doesn't matter for the purpose of the demonstration. So 1 new 45, 1 new A1, and then we're retiring that 35-foot. And then what we're going to do, the position's going to stay the same, but we're coming off at an angle here, and we're going to put another new location. Now, obviously, my GPS isn't going to cooperate. I'm up in North Georgia. This demo set is down in South Georgia, so I'm not going to use GPS to do this. So I'm going to cheat a little bit by using something we call tap to place. If you've watched any of our Orbitas usage videos, you know that our tap to place was created so that you can use the cool imagery on the background even when your GPS isn't cooperating. So let's go right up here about where my cursor is, and let's place a pole right there. Now, I'm going to show you a quick shortcut here. Notice the naming starts back at location 1. We're actually on location 3 because we imported 2 locations. Well, Orbitas Field doesn't know that. It's just a counter that starts over at 1 every time you reset a new job. So if I wanted to start this back at 3, I can click on the naming and come in and call this number 3, hit save. It overwrites the 1 with a 3, and the next one will be 4, 5, 6. The other thing I want to do, it's setting this to no parent because it's assuming it's a brand new location. Again, it's not smart enough to know, hey, I collected 2 locations already because they were imported. So I'm going to go to my parenting, and I want to parent back to that location 2 instead of starting it off in space. Now I'm parenting to 2. My point type is called a pole, and I'm on retire overhead line. Partner doesn't import the line type today, so it doesn't matter what you select as line type right now, but that is something we're looking at for the futures to pull in our line types. If you're not familiar with what line types are, don't worry, because again, it doesn't really matter for the version 1.1 module. At any rate, let's hit save. It creates a retired overhead line going to location 3, and I could then click on the location and hit units and spans. And then we'll go ahead in and we're going to keep that same, we'll keep an A1 there as well. And then let's go back and put the same type of pole. Well, we'll put some grounds on this one too. M211, let's see, poles should be here. We'll go to the 45-foot poles. And then let's hit back, go to our span, and we'll put some overhead span on too. Why not? Boom. So we very quickly just added some units and spans on it as well. While we're in here, I'm going to show you 2 other shortcuts that people like to use. Perhaps we're coming off here with our next point. I'm going to go ahead and click on the again, and you notice it names it in location 4 because I used the naming button. It reset that last one to 3, and now it's 4. It's pointing back at 3. It's calling it the same thing, a pole and a retire overhead line, because it remembers. But I want to show you that shortcut, like I said. So we're going to come in here. Instead of calling it a pole, we're going to call it a partner unit. Now, the only difference is when I hit save, instead of closing the form, it pulls me automatically into my partner unit form. That's just a shortcut to make it so you don't have to click on it afterwards and hit units and spans. It does the exact same thing. I don't actually have to add units and spans. I could hit back and it'll say, hey, you forgot to add some. I'm going to say, yes, I know. I don't care. Let's hit back and go back to the map. But that's the only difference between a pole and a partner unit. The other difference is if you were going underground, if you call it a station, it will be recognized as a vertex. So let's go over here, and I'm going to stream stations over to this little house over here. So we're going to change that partner unit to a station, hit save, and then I'm going to rinse and repeat as I walk along my underground over here. Dragging my underground, and maybe we had to go down and go around something. Okay, and I went underground over to here, and then maybe I want to finish off right here with a location. I'm not going to call this one a station. I'm going to call it a partner unit. Hit save, opens my partner unit, and let's see if we can find a meter. I don't know what the meter units are, so it's underground. Miscellaneous, there we go. Let's just do a riser. Good enough. So we'll hit add. We added a VUM6 there onto that. Oh, and we probably want to add some span as well because we streamed underground. So let's go ahead and add some underground line. 1/0 aluminum. Add that on there. Okay, we're done. We have a nice little, we came off of our existing line and we built some new line going in here. Okay, so let's show one other feature while we're in here. We're going to go over here and we want to add a guy. We're going to assume we're using an X2 or an X3. We've got good decimeter accuracy, so we want it to show us exactly where the guy should be for these 3 points. I'm going to go to my actions. I'm going to go to my little tool icon, and our bisect feature, it looks like the triangle. So I'm going to guide locations 1, the midpoint will be 2, endpoint will be 3, and I want a 20-foot guide length. I'm going to hit calculate. Calculates it, puts it on the map. If we go back to our map screen and scroll over here, it put a point right at the bisect of locations 1, 2, and 3. Tells me this is where I need to guide to, and I could click on it and hit the find button, and then I could use my little tool here to line up and go find exactly where to put that anchor so that I could put a guy wire in there. Okay. Let's assume we're done now. So we're going to go ahead and upload this job. We can use the little cloud icon as you always have, or we have put a new feature into the later versions of Orbitas. We have a status icon in the front screen that also doubles as a button. So if it's red, you can tell that job hasn't been uploaded yet. And if you click on it, it will upload job and turn green. And we're done in here. We can come back to our module. Now, normally this would have been closed, probably, and you would open it back up and you'd see your job. I've had it open, so I want to click on the refresh list, and there's work order 1016 that shows up. Now I can import it to my current job. Once again, it'll take just a few minutes, so be patient, and there it is. The retire pole has my new 45 as well as the oops, sorry, this is location 3. Clicked on the wrong one. Has my retire pole as well as my 2 new assemblies I put on it, and the backspan has the retired 4 ACSR and the new 1/0 as we added. You can see it streamed in those vertices for underground. And if I click on my backspan for that 1/0 aluminum we put, you can see it gives us the total span length all the way back to my previous location, which is number 4 right here. Okay, so that is the demonstration of the Orbitas module. That's how it operates, and that's a complete round trip from partner out to the field, edited, and then brought back in. For those of you that are upgrading from the beta version, I do want to point out a few other things. When I go back into my Orbitas manager, you notice that job I just imported is gone. That's on purpose. That's a new feature. So before it would leave it in the list. We no longer delete jobs in Orbitas, but we do archive. So you notice there's a setting in here that says archive or Orbitas jobs on import, and I have it on. So if you want it to remove your job from the list every time you import it so that it cleans up your list, you can set that auto archive to on. The other thing you might have noticed is when we went out and we exported this job out, I didn't have to go to the website at all and deal with the job at all in the website. That's because we have a new feature called assign job to user, and that's set to on. If you were an administrator, you would want to keep this off because you wouldn't want it assigned to yourself. You'd want to assign it to a user. So you'd check the job out. It would end up in the website. You go to the website and you pick who you want it to go to. In the case of your standard user, as I was, you're going to allow this setting to be on. There's some other options in here that are important. We already talked about the job variable name. We're going to hold these other features for a future video, but there are also some other cool features that are coming soon.